what it's like for a politician. They go somewhere and these people surround you and they refuse to let you go until you leave something. So, and even as far as elections go, in the scenarios where we see there was this gentleman who had, this gentleman in Meru who had that Kawanka sweater.
Yes.
And people, you know, voted for him and elected him. He had nothing apart from that one sweater that he campaigned with. But they expected once you get there,
you repay.
Utarudisha mkono. Inaitwa kurudisha mkono.
Correct.
So what is this culture born out of? My understanding of how a democracy should work is that we want one of our own there to advocate for us. Yes. And therefore we're willing to finance.
Exactly. You should be that around.
His campaigns to get him there. You know, in the US we hear about volunteers. Somebody like Barack Obama.
Yes.
How did he get there? He had people who believed in the cause, who backed him. Yeah. Here it's the other way around. It seems the money is coming from the person who is now seeking elective office.
Could Barack have made it here?
Is it like this
without handouts?
I think we are conflating different things and different aspects of culture and trying to make them into this one monolithic thing, then we can then judge. To start with the culture of the Kiondo, I personally feel that's a very beautiful culture. If you go to a Nigerian wedding, for example, you'll go with the president and you'll come out with something because that's just the culture. If I come to your house, I cannot come to your house like I'm from church and the only thing I've come with are verbal blessings. I'll at least, you know, I'll come with a packet of milk, whether I don't know if you take milk or not. I'll come with 2 packets of milk, a loaf of bread, some sugar, something. Because we come from cultures, you know, our local cultures, you know, suggest that I cannot come to your house empty-handed. Why? Because I know I'll come to your house and you'll give me some food, you'll sit down and give me tea, you'll give me your time. So there was that give and take, and that's a good thing. Now, when politicians weaponize that and say, you know, and then they play victim, all these people, they don't want to be, they want me to give them things. They took that culture, which I think is something that's beautiful, and weaponized it. You know, give me power and then I'll give you stuff. That's not how these things work. So when you translate this culture, which is a good thing, onto the national level and then fund me and then I'll give you goodies. Again, that's not how government works. And politicians cannot come back here complaining about a monster that they created. I think that is very disingenuous and blaming, you know, that's playing victim. If they created this culture, it becomes their responsibility to uncreate it. They must kill that monster. How do you kill a monster? By sticking in your lane. These people, you know, instead of staying in their lane, they've been trying to occupy all the lanes because I am the Messiah, I'm Jesus, you know, they're playing Jesus. And that's not how it is. Number 2, public service, again, is public service. It's not a chance to enrich yourself. It's not an opportunity for you to steal. And you're not, when a road is built in my area, you're not doing me a favor. Every time I buy a packet of milk, every time I buy a loaf of bread, I am paying taxes. I'm paying VAT. Every time I work and I'm paid at the end of the month, you know, a tax is deducted. Is it 30%? I'm paying taxes. Yeah. Even the business person down there is always paying taxes. Every time you park your car and city council takes money, you're paying taxes. We are overtaxed and we don't get returns on our taxes. So no one is doing anybody any favors here.
Correct.
So at the end of the day, politicians it's their responsibility to kill the monster. And then it becomes our responsibility to accept that the monster is dead. When someone comes and says, this is what I will do, which is in my lane, an MP coming down there and telling me, I'll build a road. Why should I believe you? That's not your job to build a road.
Correct.
It's not the job of the MP. There are institutions within the civil service that includes the CSS, that includes all these ministries, and all these other, like Kenha and all this. These are state institutions under the civil service.
Correct.
Who are supposed to give me a return on my investment. My investment is my tax. And that is not what is happening in Kenya today. So once again, if we build a polity, a country, where there is return on taxes, we live in a country where the president famously said 2 billion shillings disappears. Was it on a daily basis or on a weekly basis?
Daily.
Daily basis. 2 billion, where is this 2 billion going? Everybody will tell you cartels. It's like cartels are these ghosts that are siphoning money through osmosis and diffusion. You know, money is passing through some semi-permeable membrane and disappearing, vanishing into thin air. But they were the ones who were stealing this money through their own proxy companies, through their cousins, through their relatives and their girlfriends and boyfriends. That is not public service. That is creating a monster that at the end of the day you cannot feed. It becomes this huge crocodile, and you're swimming in this river, and at the end of the day you become the victim. So we need to move. What Sam has said, we need, and this will take another maybe 2-3 cycles. Once MPs realize, oh, do I really want to go and throw myself in front of the people? Exactly. And I don't have CDF, I don't have money, there is no money. So even me opening my wallet to give people 1,000, 2,000 every time I'm talking to them, will I get a return on investment when I go down there and there's no money and everybody wants tenders, for example? When the tendering processes, where this 2 billion was disappearing every 12 business hours, when these processes are streamlined, because wakubwas are not there to eat, that is the time we'll see the country move to a place where an MP doesn't have to promise me a road, because there's a road there. And there is a budget to maintain that road, to make sure that it doesn't get potholes every time it rains, for example. That I don't have to be promised a hospital. There's a hospital here. I have NHIF and NHIF works. Once we reach that stage, and we are the ones, you know, he's saying that, you know, in Sweden, I feel that we don't have the luxury of Sweden, where the state is so paternalistic, we just expect things to work. We have to push, we have to become more involved. And one of the ways to be involved is to move away from the belief that civic participation is about voting. Civic participation means when a bill is being read down at the county government, I'm there. Exactly. When a bill is being circulated here that is poisonous at the National Assembly, I am there. Whether I'm making noise through Twitter or I'm attending, it doesn't matter. That is civic participation. Once we build organic systems from the communities, to make sure that when a bill is being read, there's representatives from the community to say, this bill is poisonous, this is how we want the budget. For example, how many of us participate in how the county budgets are being managed? None of us. Maybe in the mashinani, but here in Nairobi, everybody's busy, everybody's hustling, etc. So these are two things.
But Carol, yes. I hear what you're saying. Yes. It's also about public participation. Right. But